What is going on YouTube? It's Kyle coming at you from the basement on the very old rickety reloading bench I've since upgraded. I was following in Uncle Jim's footsteps this morning and decided to do a bunch of wet tumbling. So I sorted through a bucket of brass that we picked up last time we went shooting and managed to get pretty much a full tumbler. It's to about right here. Full tumbler of 556. I ran it through for about an hour this morning just to get it cleaned up before I run it through my decapping die. That's what I use this little Lee turret press for. That and loading 44 Magnum for my buddy. And Mr. Robinson is a big fan. He calls them little robin eggs. It's where I mix some red and blue powder and stuff together. They're a real pretty purple. But anyway, that's not what this is about. What this is about is I ran them through before I decapped them just to clean them up, and in the process of decapping them, I started running into issues. And I noticed, let me see if I can get it to where you can see it. Let me look around the camera right quick. Let me get a different one. Okay. There's a swipe mark right here. I noticed they weren't going into the shell holder very good. And there's a burr just across from the ejector mark, or the pusher mark out of the bolt. I'm sitting there going, what is going on? And I noticed every one of them, let me get out of the light, are ones that I reloaded. They've all got CCI primers in them. I'm like, what is going on here? So that brought me back to sometime last year when I had a malfunction, a very bad one. In the middle of running and gunning, the roll pin that holds my ejector into my bolt broke on me. The ejector goes right here. That roll pin that goes right in through there, as you can see, it's still in the hole right there. It broke, and when that happened, the AR locked down. It wouldn't move. I had to take the buffer tube off, had to start totally disassembling the weapon until I could get it apart. I've got the carrier for it right here. I haven't even bothered cleaning it up. I threw a new one in there. There doesn't seem to be any damaging on the lining in there. Like I say, I haven't cleaned it up. I had an extra one, so I just threw it in there. But when that happened, I noticed it was in the middle of a shoot, and we were running around, double tapping targets, moving, and all that, and it sounded weird. And then it fired and would not fire again for my second shot. And I'm ejecting shells, ramming the forward assist, because all this stuff's timed, and it wouldn't go off. Well, I looked at the judge and pulled my pistol out and finished up the course with my pistol. He was okay with that. Of course, it didn't count, but he went ahead and scored it anyway. Apparently, I hit all of the shots with my pistol, even the ones that were out to like 50 yards. He was rather impressed with that, and so was I, frankly. But I was running just cast reloads, and this is all Lake City brass. But I noticed that every one of these that wouldn't fit into the shell holder was one of my reloads. I'm like, And then it dawned, I remembered, because it's coming up on about a year ago now when this happened, when this roll pin broke and locked everything down. It was doing stupid stuff with the extractor, grabbing a hold of the rims of the cases, and it doesn't look, let me see if I can find it. It doesn't look bad. There, I don't even know if you'll be able to see it. It doesn't look bad, but see that little bulge right at the end of my thumbnail? That little bulge where it hit. And it did that straight across from the little pin inside your bolt face that little pin, it did it straight across from that on every single one. So this thing was starting to break for a minute, and I was too caught up in the moment to understand what was going on. Like I said, it started to feel a little weird and it sounded funny. That was that pin breaking, and then it finally locked down, and luckily it would not chamber next round to fire. There was not a squib load or anything like that in there. It just wouldn't chamber the round, and there was a piece of the case neck that was stuck in the chamber. That's what was keeping it from doing it. I don't know if I know it wasn't a double charged round. I'm positive of that. I don't know what happened. I just had a little bit of case neck. The case neck just split on it. I had the casing somewhere, but I've apparently hid it from myself. I think we were all guilty of that. But I just wanted to bring that up to you, that you know, pay attention. If that thing would have chambered another round, it could have hurt. It could have been bad. But I immediately stopped, slung the rifle over my shoulder, and continued on, finished up, then started disassembling the rifle and realized I couldn't get it apart. So I waited till I got home, pulled the buffer tube out, the springs, all this stuff, got to where I could get to the back of it, and I had to take it apart with a hammer. I used a brass hammer, beat the carrier up in there so I could rotate the upper from the lower, and then I had to pry the carrier out of it. But like I say, there's no damage to the carrier where the I didn't even have the forethought to bring a flashlight, but I mean, it's nasty. I haven't cleaned it. I figured, what the hell, I just threw it in the drawer. Be a good thing to do on a rainy day, which is why I'm tumbling this brass, because it's raining and it's just nasty. So I've got my tumbler back full, and going to fill it up with water and a little lemon shine and some Dawn. Going to run it for about 2 hours, and that's going to be some really clean brass. Get the primer pockets good and clean. I went ahead and gauged them, of course, before I sized them, but they're all way below. I didn't go to the trouble to measure them. I just started shoving them in a case gauge, and everything's way below. I was looking for any of them that were right there at it or a little high. I was going to cast them off into another bucket, because I've got coffee cans sitting everywhere where brass is in several different stages. I think what I'm going to do is buy a brand new batch of 556 brass, keep it segregated from everything, and use that to track my loads, you know, once fired, twice fired, 3 times, and see what I can get out of it. I've never done it. I just, there's no telling how many reloads were on that piece of brass that the neck separated on. I tend to think that my quality control is pretty good. I check everything, gauge everything, look and measure, and, you know, every single piece of brass gets looked at 4 or 5 times before it goes in the gun. Just, you know, you look at it when you're sorting it, because I put all my brass in a bucket when I'm shooting, and then I get home and sort it all out. So I'm looking at it there. I catch a few there. I clean them up. I look at them when I'm sizing them or decapping them. Catch a few there that I might have missed the first time, now that they're clean and you can see them. Then I tumble them again, and then I spread everything out on a cookie sheet, cook them for a little bit to dry out, get all the water out, and maybe catch a few there. It's rare that I catch any there, because I've already caught them. But yeah, I want to get a fresh batch. I'm sorry for the shaky camera work. I want to get a fresh batch of brand new brass and segregate it and track it and see what I'm getting, because I'm not running real hot loads. These were actually just little plinking loads, just enough to make the steel go ding or punch holes in cardboard. You know, that's all these were. They were nothing. They were just strong enough to work the action. I've got some other ones, you know, some 77 grainers and stuff like that I've made for precision. I've got one AR set up to do long range shooting with. And I don't run cast lead through it. I run jacketed bullets through it, just because I don't want any strange stuff happening. I want consistency the whole day through with it. Well, anyway, I just thought you guys would get a kick out of that. I had forgotten all about this until I started seeing all that, and then I opened the drawer that I hadn't opened in a year, and I found this bolt laying there, and I went, you know, maybe I ought to work on doing that. That way I have another spare that I can take. I've got a spare bolt carrier group in my shooting bag that I always carry with me, but I need another one here at the house. God, that thing's nasty. Well, anyway, guys, have a wonderful afternoon. Just letting you know what I'm up to. And, hey, see you later. Bye.